Good morning to all of you. Today we'll start a new topic, that is microencapsulation technique. So under this topic we are going to cover the definition, needs and reasons for the microencapsulation process, their applications, concept of what is core and what is coat materials. Then we'll discuss different methods for the microencapsulation. There are various methods like phase separation, coagulation method is there, roaster process is there, spray drying and rated process is there, interfacial polymerization process is there, then multi-orifice centrifugal process, pan coating process, and likewise solvent evaporation methods are there. So that we are going to discuss in microencapsulation techniques. So basically, as the process, it means applying relative thin coat. We are providing encapsulations of solid and liquid particles or any dispersions. So this is the rapidly expanding technology nowadays. So we have coating, we know we have coating, we are providing the coating for the tablet. So there are various reasons for masking the bitter taste or for the release profile. So likewise here we are coating or we are encapsulating the solid or liquid materials. So basically we know the macro coating techniques, means in that uh, particles which is ranging dimensionally from the several 10 to the micron to the 5000 microns in size, that is coated. So as the technology is developed, it has become the apparent that the concept offers the industrial pharmacist a new working tools, that is a micro encapsulation technique. So that microencapsulations that provide the means of converting liquid to the solids, of altering colloidal and surface properties, and providing the environmental protections and of the controlling the release characteristics or availability of the coated materials. So these are the several properties that we have also discussed in a coating. That the same properties are there. So here we are converting uh, we are providing the encapsulations for the microparticles. So basically, what exactly microencapsulations and what are the different parts of that microencapsulation technique and what are the different process or the methods that we are using for the microencapsulation? So that will be focused in this particular topic. So basically, because of the smallness of the particles, whatever the drug moieties are there, so that can be widely distributed throughout the GI tract, and obviously that they will ultimately improve the drug absorptions. So there are various advantages, disadvantages also. There are different applications also, and there is a reasons why this microencapsulations is required. So that we are going to discuss. So nowadays microencapsulations which is receiving the considerable attentions, fundamentally as well as the developmentally and as well as in the commercially. So this particular topic will present the descriptions of the more prominent microencapsulations methods and their capabilities and their limitations. So let's discuss what exactly microencapsulations are. Microencapsulations, it is a process by which a very thin droplets or particles of liquid or solid materials are surrounded or coated with a continuous film of polymeric materials. So what is microencapsulations? So microencapsulations, it is a process which supplying the relatively thin coating to small particles of solids or droplets of the liquids and in a dispersions. So here we can consider there is one core material, one neutral nuclei will be there, and we are providing one coating. Simple examples will take like James. chocolates which is covered with the two coating. One is for the color coating, then there is a one white coat is there, and there is a one sugary contents are there, right? But here we are using the microparticles. That particular gems will be comes under the tablet coating types. So likewise, we are using different types of polymeric materials, so that can be coat the solid or the liquid particles. So the product which is obtained by this process, which is called as a microparticles or microcapsules. Why it is so? Because of their size. So the particles having the diameters between the 3 to 800 micron are known as a microparticles or a microspheres or microcapsules, and the particles which are larger than 1000 microns are known as a macroparticles. So as already I have discussed, these particular microencapsulations which is differentiated from the macro coating techniques, because in a macro coating the particle size which is ranging from the 1000 to 5000 microns in size, but the developments has been take place. Now the particle size is reduced to 3 to 800 microns, which are called as a microparticles or micro microcapsules or a microsphere. So basically the important we can say the important areas for the current microencapsulations, these are first thing stabilizations of core materials, second one the control of the release or the availability of the core materials, and third one the separations of chemically reactive ingredients within a tablets or the powder mixtures. So basically the applications of these particular microencapsulations will include sustained release or the prolonged release action medications. We can mask the test of chewable tablets, powders and suspensions. Basically single layer tablets containing the chemical incompatibilities and new formulations concept. It will be for the creams, ointment, aerosols, some plasters or some injectables also. So microencapsulations plays a very important role here. So whenever we are talking about the stabilizations, so the concept of improved stabilizations. So there are certain vitamins are there which is retarded degradative losses uh, uh, during the processing or anything. So we have to convert that vitamins or some volatile liquids with subsequent retentions of the liquid core materials during the extended storage. This is one of the example of the stabilizations. So stability of the stability enhancement of by the microencapsulations, which plays the very important role. Secondly, the release properties, as I have already discussed, release properties. So release properties of microencapsulated materials which required, we have to consider the details about the core materials and the coated materials. So basically as the coated material that we are using for the coating purpose, that must be released in a predictable and a reproducible manner. So there are various types of mechanisms that involve under the encapsulated or mechanism is available to release encapsulated core materials. Sometimes disruptions of coating can occur by the pressures or by the shear or by the abrasion forces. Also, there is another one mechanism that we can adapt it where the permeability changes carried out enzymatically, or also that can be achieved from the inert coating by the diffusions or by leaching of the permanent fluids, or the rate of release of the means rate of release of any medicament with the help of the by permeating the coating to the extraction fluid. So there are various applications are there, prolonged actions or the sustained release formulations, which is also one of the examples of microencapsulation. So microencapsulation we cannot say for the limited sources. So microencapsulations we can use for the stabilization purpose, means we are protecting that core material from the external environment. Secondly, the control of means release properties of the any microencapsulated materials, the prolonged actions and sustained release formulation, which is one of the one of the applications of uh, microencapsulation process. So the process of microencapsulations that involves a basic understanding of the general properties of the microcapsules, like the nature of the core and the coating materials, then stability and release characteristics of coated materials and the microencapsulations methods. These are the different things we have to consider, and then we have to go for the microencapsulation process with the help of the suitable process, like a booster process will be there, or we can use the spray drying and related process, or interfacial polymerization process will be there, multi-orifice centrifugal process will be there. So that has to be considered. Generally, microparticles, it consists of the two components. One is our core material. So here this will be our core material, and the materials which we'll use for the coating purpose, which is called as a coat materials or the shell materials. So microparticles, as we already discussed, they are divided into microcapsules and microspheres. So microcapsules, the active agents, forms a core surrounded by an inner diffusion barriers. So they are monocore types, polycore types, or matrix type. Means a single core they are formulated, single encapsulated, multiple encapsulations are there, and the matrix types. So that we'll discuss in details about this. And the macrospheres, where the active agent is dispersed or dissolved in a inert polymer. Now we'll discuss in details about what is core materials and what is coating materials. So before moving to that, we'll talk about the advantages. So why microencapsulation is very important, or why microencapsulations is beneficial over the other process. So microencapsulations, it will increase the viability. As already I have discussed, there are various mechanisms that we are using to deliver the medicament. So we'll get the higher percentage of drug release in specific environment. So obviously the viability of our drug or our API will be the increase. If we alter the drug release, as already I have discussed, we can use this particular process for the stabilizations of the core materials as well as for the control of the release or the release of the medicament, means extended release purpose साठी किंवा prolonged action साठी this encapsulation technique is very much important. Whatever the coating materials that we are using for the coating purpose, so that will help to release the medicament steadily, and that release will help to attain the sustained release of our medicaments, which will improve the patient compliances in two ways. Whatever the drug release we require, that can be achieved, and second one, whatever the beta test drugs, that can be masked with the help of the different polymers. Different polymeric mechanisms are there, so that can be used for the release purpose, and there are like sugar coating or the tablet coating processes are there. The same process here we can use to mask the beta test drugs. Second, third, fourth one, to produce a targeted drug delivery, as a polymer that we are using to coat for the for the coating purpose by any other method. So there are various mechanisms they are adapted, like a temperature dependent, like polymers are there, some pH dependent polymers are there. So we can exactly deliver our medicament at the specific sites. Simply example, polymeric materials or the encapsulated materials we want to deliver in an intestinal pH. So obviously the polymer that we are using, that has the tendency to rupture or to diffuse at that specific pH conditions only. So we can produce a targeted drug delivery where we can exactly deliver our medicament at the specific region. Also, it reduces the reactivity of the core in relation to the outside environment. So that is the stabilization purpose. Means it protects the core materials with from the external environments. Also, it to decrease the evaporation rate of the core materials and to convert the liquid to the solid form and to mask the core trace. So these are the advantages of in microencapsulations. But basically, the three important areas of microencapsulations applications are stabilizations. Second one, control of the release, and means control of the release or availability of the core materials, and last one, separations of the chemically reactive ingredients within a tablet or a powder mix. So there are various new formulation concepts are there, like a cream ointments are there, suppositories and injectables are there. So in that case, these microencapsulations we can use with the help of various uh, uh, various techniques, by using the various techniques to convert the specific formulations into the microencapsulated form. So what is core material? So microencapsulations, here we can see the fundamental considerations of the microencapsulations means, as already I have discussed, the process of microencapsulations that involves a basic understandings of the general properties of microcapsules. So under that, the core materials, whether our core materials is in a solid state or which is in a liquid form. So depending upon that, we can select the proper coating materials. So coating materials, there are various types of coating materials are there. So basically the purpose of encapsulations means for the test masking purpose or for the sustained release purpose or for the to reduce the gastric irritation purpose or for the stabilization purpose or reduction the volatility purpose. So basically first we will know that before using the coating materials, for what purpose we are providing the coating or what purpose we are converting them. So either a solid will be there, so you have to formulate the or you have to use the specific methods. Which method should be suitable for the solid purpose, which should be suitable for the liquid purpose. So you must know the general criteria for the core materials as well as the coating materials, the stability, the release characteristics of our coating materials. Now here we can see different coating materials we have put. Polymers are there, waxes are there, resins are there, proteins are there, polysaccharides are there. So they are not said, all those don't have the same properties or same release mechanisms. So depending upon that, we are using the coating materials, as as I have just now discussed, that for the for which purpose we are encapsulating the core materials. Now what is core material here? So the core materials, so basically suppose here core material means this is our any solid particles, we can call any APIs are there, any vitamin substitutes are there. So which is having some problems like it is easily volatilable, or which is basically uh, which has the bad taste, or we have to deliver that particular medicaments at the acidic pH but which is having the basic range. So we have to encapsulate them with the help of suitable coating materials. Okay, so this will be inner part will be our core, and the outer part we call as a coating materials. In the previous slides we'll go here. This will be our core materials की जो कोट करायचा आहे, की ज्याला कोटिंग एन्कॅप्सुलेशन प्रोव्हाइड करायचं आहे, दॅट वी कॉल्ड एज अ कोअर मटेरियल्स. अँड ज्या मटेरियलने आपण त्याला कोट प्रोव्हाइड करणार आहोत किंवा ज्या मटेरियलने आपण त्याला प्रोटेक्शन प्रोव्हाइड करणार आहे, आयदर पॉलिमर्स असतील किंवा रेझिन्स असतील, दॅट वी कॉल्ड एज अ coating materials. And the vehicles that we are using, either aqueous vehicles or either non-aqueous vehicles. So these are the fundamental considerations, means these are the things that we have to consider. And one of the important thing that we have to consider in the microencapsulations is that once you formulate it, or once you provide the encapsulations, which type of products, final products will form. Means it is in a tablet form, or it is in a dry powder form, or it is in a capsule form. So that has to be also considered. So that precautions has to be taken. So what is core material? So the core material is defined as a specific materials to be coated. So it should be, or it can be liquid or in a solid in natures. The compositions of core materials that can be varied, means in a liquid formulations it can be into a dispersions or dissolved materials. Likewise in a solid it may be single solid substance or a mixtures of active constituents, some stabilizers, some excipients are there, or some release rate retardants are there, or some accelerators are there. So the ability to vary the core materials of compositions that provide the flexibility and utilizations of these characteristics, which will allows effectual design and a development of the desired microcapsules properties. So basically there are various types of core materials are available in solid forms as well as in a liquid form. So it is not possible to list out all those materials or the core materials and the products that are maybe uh, goes under the microencapsulation process. But there are some examples. They are given acetaminophenes are there. Acetaminophen, which is having the slightly water soluble solids, so which is having the bad taste or the bad taste. So that can be, so the polymers that we can use for the taste marking purpose. Aspirin, again this is used for the sustained release. We can means we can encapsulate it for the increasing the release and importantly reduce the gastric irritations. So aspirin that can be encapsulated for this purpose. Uh, there are some enzymes also. Urease enzyme is there, so it will be, means permiselective of enzymes. So in dispersion form we can convert them. Potassium chlorides also to reduce the gastric irritations. When vitamins is there, we'll consider vitamin A, palmitate, um, for the stabilizations to the oxidation purpose. They have encapsulated. So this is the core material that we are using. So core materials means which is either solid or liquid materials that is to be encapsulated. They are called as a core materials. Now, coating materials. The coating materials means the materials which is to be coated on a core, that is called as a coating materials. So the coating materials, the selections of the specific coating materials uh, decide the physical and the chemical properties of the resultant microcapsule on the microspheres. So basically selections कोणता कोटिंग मटेरियल्स रिक्वायर्ड आहे किंवा कोणत्या कोटिंग मटेरियल्स हे बेस्ट आहे. सो वी हॅव टू कॅरीड आउट some questionnaires and we have to ask the questions to that specific polymers or materials. So basically there are some points has to be considered while selecting the polymers for the coating purpose. So like stabilizations, reduce volatility, means what are the specific dosage or the product requirements. First is stabilizations, release characteristics, environmental conditions that has to be considered. Then what coating material will satisfying the product objectives and requirements. जे आपण कोटिंग मटेरियल युटिलाइज करणार आहोत, whether it is satisfying the actual roles, means आपण टेस्ट मास्किंग साठी जो युटिलाइज करतो तर टेस्ट मास्किंग प्रॉपर्ली होते का, किंवा नॉन व्होलॅटिलिटी रिड्यूस करण्यासाठी जे आपण युटिलाइज करतो त्यामध्ये नॉन व्होलॅटिलिटी रिड्यूस होते का. सो द एम ऑफ युजिंग coating materials, whether it is satisfied or not, and which microencapsulation method which is best to accomplish this coating process with the help of the coating materials. So the selections of these coating materials which decide the physical and the chemical properties of the microcapsules, and thus the selections must be carefully done. So basically the coating materials that should be capable of forming a film that is cohesive with the core materials. It should be chemically compatible. It should be non-reactive with core materials, and it should provide the desired coating properties like a strain, flexibility, impermeability, and stability. So, so these conditions has to be considered. So the selections of a given coating can be aided by the review of existing literatures and by the study of free or the cast films. So the particles, use of free film informations like a cast of the free film prepared by the usual casting techniques, which will yield a film that are considerably thicker than those produced by the microencapsulations of the small particles. The particular microencapsulation method which is employed for the deposition of given coating produce specific and inherent properties that are difficult to stimulate with the existing film casting methods. And third one, the coating substrates or the core materials may have the diffuse effects on a coating material properties. Hence, the selections of particular coating materials, we have to properly take the precautions. Sorry. So there are different types of coating materials are there. Water soluble resins are there, water insoluble resins are there, waxes and lipids are there, some enteric resins are there like the shellacs, Zain is there, then waxes and lipids were under paraffin, beeswax is there, steric acids is there, some water soluble resins under which gelatin is there, starch is there, carboxymethyl cellulose is there, methyl cellulose is there, water insoluble resins, ethyl cellulose is there, polyethylene acrylate and cellulose nitrate is there. So basically these coating materials we cannot use for the all the methods. Like a gelatins we can use for the multi orifice centrifugal process, phase separation coacervation methods. or pan coating methods or the spray drying methods or the air suspension method. So likewise, we can talk that beeswax or like acetic acids we cannot use for the multi-orifice centrifugal process or phase separation process. So likewise, the selections of coating materials is very much important. So selections is basically depends upon the coating material properties and the materials or the methods that we are adopted for the encapsulation purpose. So the role of the polymers are the substances which is having the high molecular weight and obviously which are made up of by the repeating monomer units. So polymer molecules, they are linear or branched, and a separate linear or a branch chains, they are joined by the cross links. So polymers that are used widely in pharmaceutical system as adjuvants, coating materials, as well as components of the control and the site-specific drug delivery system. There are various mechanisms that we can adopt it here. So that mechanisms which include the temperature dependent, pH dependent systems are there, or the control, the specific site release medicaments are there. So where we can use such type of polymers. So this is the properties of coating material. It must be stabilize the core materials. It should be inert toward active ingredients. It should provide a control release under the specific conditions. It must form a thin film, pliable. It should be tasteless and stable. It should be non-hygroscopic, means it should not absorb the moistures. It should not have the high viscosity economically feasible to the manufacturer. It should be soluble in aqueous media or a solvent or in a melting, and whatever the coating they are provided, it must be flexible, brittle, hard and thin. So these are the properties of uh, coating materials. So the polymers, it should be capable of forming a film that is cohesive with the core materials, and it should be chemically compatible with our compatible as well as non-reactive with our core materials. So importantly, it should be form a capable film or thin film. It should be form and it should be cohesive with our core materials, and it should be chemically compatible and non-reactive with core materials. So it should provide strength, flexibility, impermeability, and optical properties and stability. So here, this is the list of different coating materials: water-soluble resins under which gelatin, gum arabica, PVP, CMC, carboxymethyl cellulose, polyvinyl polypyrrolidine will be there, methyl cellulose is there, polyvinyl acrylate is there, water-insoluble resins, ethyl cellulose, polyethylene, polymethyl acrylate, cellulose nitrates are there, silicons are there, wax and lipids, paraffin, carnauba wax, beeswax, stearic acid, stearyl alcohols are there. Then enteric resins, shellac, zinc, silver acetate phthalates are there that can be used as a coating purpose. Now, whenever we are using these particular polymers, either it is a water soluble or either they are water insoluble or either they are waxes, the release mechanisms that they have used means once we are providing the coating, so we have to means it should be degraded at the specific conditions. So basically the main aim of microencapsulations is the applications uh, is the isolations of the core from the surrounding, but whenever we are using it, the wall must be ruptured at the specific conditions and it should release the medicament. So there are various release mechanisms that has been proposed for the microencapsulations. First is the by pressures or shear stress.
by melting the wall at the specific temperatures, by dissolving it under the particular conditions like pH conditions we can maintain. So in case of the enteric drug coating, where it will release their medicaments at the specific acidic pH conditions only. By solvent actions, by enzymatic attacks, there are different enzymes are present in our body. So depending upon that enzymatic attack, they will rupture or they will diffuse and they will release their medicament. So the enzymatic attacks by the chemical reaction, various chemical reactions that are takes place. So with the help of the chemical reactions or coating materials that will be disrupt and it will release our core materials into the specific conditions and hydrolysis or the slow disintegration process. So this is all regarding the basic of our microencapsulation techniques. The remaining process, the method that we are using for the microencapsulation technique that will covered in the next lecture. Thank you.